Assalamualaikum and good day to our lecturer and everyone. Today I am going to present our project title Statistical Analysis of Domestic Violence Case in Malaysia using one population and two population mean test. Let's start with first part. I will present our case study on domestic violence in Melaka from 2022 to 2024. This is a serious social issue that affects many families. The number of cases can change because of things like population size or how aware people are. For this study, we run a statistical test to see if the average number of annual cases is different from 240. We have three main goals for this part of the study. First, to check if the average yearly case in Melaka are significantly different from 240. Second, to use a one sample t-test to analyze the number. And third, to provide useful information to help keep our community safe. To start our statistical test, we are set up two hypotheses. Firstly is null hypothesis. This means the average annual case in Melaka is exactly equal to 240. Alternative hypothesis is this means the average annual case is not equal to 240. Why did we choose the one sample t-test? First, we only look at one place, which is Melaka. Second, our data is small. We only have 3 years of data, as you can see in the table. Third, we do not know the real population standard deviation, so a t-test is the perfect tools for this. Now, let's look at the math which we did in 4 easy steps. First step, we found the average of our data, which is 252. Step 2, we calculated the sample standard deviation, which is 19.08. Step 3, using those numbers, we found our t calculated value, which is 1.09. Step 4, using a 5% significance level and a two-tailed test, our t critical value from the table is 4.303. Finally, let's look at the graph for our final result. Our calculated score is 1.09. This number fall inside the do not reject zone right between negative 4.303 and 4.0303. Because 1.09 is smaller than 4.303, we fail to reject. In simple word, the average annual case of domestic violence in Melaka is not significantly different from 240. Even though the number looks stable, domestic violence is still a big problem. So we recommend doing more awareness program to help victims.
Now I will present the second part of these studies, which compare domestic violence cases between Kedah and Kelantan. Domestic violence remain a serious issue in Malaysia and affect communities in differently across state. By comparing the reported cases in Kedah and Kelantan from 2022 to 2024, we can determine whether there is a significant difference in the average number of cases between these two states. Next is research objective. The objective of these studies are to determine whether there is a significant difference in the average number of domestic violence cases between Kedah and Kelantan from 2022 to 2024. Next is to compare domestic violence cases trend in both states. Next, to apply the two population mean test in analyzing domestic violence data. And next, to provide statistical evidence that may help improve domestic violence prevention and awareness program. Next is hypothesis. For this study, the null hypothesis states that there is no significant difference in the mean number of domestic violence cases between Kedah and Kelantan. The alternative hypothesis states that there is a significant difference in the mean number of domestic violence cases between these two states. This is a two-tailed hypothesis test because they are testing for any difference between the two means. Next is data and type of test. The data collected as follows. For Kedah, the reported cases were 874 in 2022. 603 in 2023 and 584 in 2024. For Kelantan, the reported cases were 489 in 2022, 414 in 2023 and 493 in 2024. The statistical test used is the independent test. The statistical test used is the independent sample t-test, which is a two population mean test. This test is appropriate because we are comparing to independent population. The population standard deviation is unknown and both sample size are small. Next is statistical procedure. First, the mean number of domestic violent cases were calculated for each state. The mean for Kedah is 687 cases, while Kelantan is 465.33 cases. Next, the standard deviation for both states were calculated. This value was substituted into the independent sample t-test for formula. This value were then substituted into the independent sample t-test formula to obtain the test statistic. Next is test statistic. Using the independent sample t-test formula, the calculated test statistic is 2.28. The degrees of freedom are calculated as N1 plus N2 minus 2, which give a value of 4, a significance level of 0.05 for a two-tailed test. The critical value from the t-table is 2.776. Next, for decision, interpretation, and conclusion, the calculated t-value is 2.28, while the critical value is 2.776. Since 2.28 is less than 2.776, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. This means there is insufficient statistical evidence at the 5% significance level to conclude that there is a significant difference in the average number of domestic violence cases between Kedah and Kelantan. In conclusion, although Kedah recorded more cases than Kelantan during the study period, the difference is not statistically significant. Based on this finding, this is recommended that both states continue strengthening domestic violence awareness programs, improve victim support service, and enhance reporting system, and increase collaboration between government agency, NGO, and local community. That's all from us. Thank you.